Hi everyone. So we are at home, as you can tell, and I was asked a couple of questions, so I thought I would do a quick video answering one of those questions. That question is how we determine what load to take and pay for that run with FedEx Custom Critical. I want to start off by saying this is solely for me and Dom when we make our decision as to what to run for. This does not have anything to do with any other company, any other truck, whether it be from a cargo van all the way to an 18-wheeler. This is just our experience and what we do in determining what to run for. So let me start off by saying that the owner that we drive for, we do not own the truck. The owner that we drive for lets us run the truck as we see fit. They do not micromanage us. They do not tell us what to take. They do not tell us where to go. We do have a contract with that owner. The only stipulation is the owner has a minimum rate that we have to run for. That minimum rate is between a surface dry load or a reefer run. So that is the only requirement. This is something that's very easy to deal with. You know, the reason the owner does this is because he does not want his truck moving for low rates, and he wants to be profitable as well as we do. These are not some absurd rates that he sets forth. It's easily obtainable. So this is what we have to work with. Everything else is free reign. We run it as we see fit. So one of the things that FedEx determines who gets the run next is who is closest to the run. If you have a less than 75, meaning that your previous run that you did was less than 75 loaded miles, how much dwell time you have, if you've been sitting in a location for a long period of time. These are just some of the factors that go into determining who gets the run whenever an offer comes out and multiple people respond to accepting it. One of the things that goes into determining when we accept the run is where we are situated. So for example, let's say that we are in Elk Grove Village, Illinois, which is outside of Chicago. We know that Chicago is a great expedited area and there's lots of freight. There's usually lots of trucks. So if we're in the area, we're usually going to try to wait for something that has really good miles and really good pay because we know a lot of freight moves in this area. So for example, run comes out to you. It will come out either over the C-Link, Qualcomm, or via telephone, depending on which one you're available on. So when the offer comes out, it's going to have a lot of information. It's going to have everything from the run number to your pickup times, your drop-up times, your pickup location, your drop-off locations, your pay, if they're allowing anything for tolls, if they're giving you any extra money for any additional things that you have to do, for example, inside pickup delivery, lift gate, pallet jack, any other equipment that you may have to use on the truck. And it's also going to tell you what type of load it is. If it's a surface load, if it's white glove, if it's a reefer load, if there's any detention time already paid into the load for you having to wait, if there's reefer detention time because you get to an area and they won't accept it until the next day, they'll pay you extra money for sitting overnight running your reefer. All of this is included into the run offer. So you have 5 minutes with FedEx Custom Critical to make a decision. 5 minutes may seem like a long time, but when this offer comes out to you, you automatically start going into thinking mode, I like to say, because you're thinking about all this stuff that's coming to you and you have to determine, is this going to be profitable for you to do? So things that you're thinking about is it picking up in an area I'm already in? Do I have to deadhead 400 miles to get there? This is Monday morning. Is it picking up on Wednesday morning? Am I willing to wait till Wednesday morning to pick up this run? How much pay is it? What does it include? Is it a reefer run? Is there inside pickup delivery? Am I physically able to do the run? You know, if you're of an older generation or if you're physically not able to pick up a lot of boxes and things like that, that's something to think about when all of this information comes out to you. So for example, let's say we're in Elk Grove Village and an offer comes out going over to Ohio. So over to Ohio, us being team drivers, we're usually not going to take that unless it's for some reason I have to go to Ohio for something. I'm usually not going to take that run because it's short miles. It usually is not going to pay a lot, and we're teams. We have to be able to make a profit out here, and we know that Chicago is a great area for freight. Also, we have to determine, is it meeting our minimum if we were to take that run? So let's say an offer comes out to San Diego, California from Elk Grove Village. So if an offer comes out going to San Diego, but let's say the offer comes out at $1.25 per mile. Now this is all miles. FedEx will send out your pay will be broken down for your deadhead, for your loaded, your fuel surcharge, and all this. We take all of that and add it together and divide it by the total miles. We don't care if we're loaded or if we're deadheading. For us to move that truck, it costs the same, whether you're loaded or you're deadheaded. We have to make a profit regardless. So we take everything and add it together, divide that up, and then we get our per mile rate. So if that run to California comes out at $1.25 per mile, one, it's below our minimum. So we have to decide, okay, are we going to pay the owner the difference from $1.25 to his minimum that he set? Are we still going to make a profit? Two, when does the load pick up and when does it deliver? So usually, mostly, we are not going to take that run, mainly because of the pay. It is paying too low for us to make any type of profit or for the owner to make a profit. So let's say that an offer comes out from Elk Grove Village going to Atlanta. Atlanta is another high freight area for Expediter freight. So we automatically know that we're going to a good area. Let's say the offer comes out at $2 per mile. So it's around 700-800 miles from Elk Grove Village down to Atlanta. Not a whole lot of miles, but it's okay, it's decent. $2 a mile and going to a great area. This is something that I would probably accept. So if I accept that run, then it also determines whether or not someone else accepts the run. If we accept the run and we're first on the board, but someone else accepted the run who had a less than 75, they're probably going to get it over us because they have a less than 75 status. Unless the other truck has a less than 75, but we're closer to the pickup and it's an ASAP pickup for the customer. It's something that they have to get on the road right away to get down to Atlanta. If we're closer, then we're going to get it over that less than 75 truck. So again, there are many things that go into determining whether or not you get a run with FedEx. So let's say we accept the run, we get it, we take off and we go to Atlanta. So when we get to Atlanta, the whole thing starts over again. We're back in a high freight area for Expediters, we're back in a high area for a lot of trucks, and we're also in an area that we are pretty well set up okay. So let's say that we do get a run out of Atlanta and we take off to Kansas City. Kansas City is not a very good area, but we took the run because it was paying really well. Let's say it was $2.25 per mile. So it's a really high paying run, but we know we're not going to a great area. So we get to Kansas City, we deliver, we get on the board. We're the only truck in Kansas City. So while we're there, one thing that we do have to keep in mind is Kansas City, that I know for FedEx, they do ship out some temperature validated freight. There is one company there that will ship a lot of stuff out. So that's kind of good, but it doesn't guarantee us anything. So when we get there, we go into service, we're on the board, we're waiting for an offer, and let's say that we sit for 2 days. We never get an offer for 2 days. So that finally an offer comes through, we have to determine, one, where's it going? Is it a good area? But we've already been sitting for 2 days. Let's say the offer is below our minimum that we have to run for according to the owner. We then have to decide, are we willing to pay the difference to be able to get moving again? Or are we going to continue to sit and wait for something else? So again, it's a decision-making process every time an offer comes in. And with FedEx, you can turn down or accept anything that you want. If you turn down 50 loads in one day, it really means nothing. You know, it goes on record with FedEx that you've declined or refused to load, but it's not like you get knocked to the bottom of a list. You know, I don't know about other companies. I have heard that some companies out there will actually move you to the bottom of the list because you refuse so many loads. With FedEx, there's none of that. You just either accept or you decline. If you accept something, you're going to either get it or you won't get it based on your qualifications and so forth. If you decline something and you don't put a reason, you may get a call from FedEx asking you why did you decline it, or they may offer you more money, or they may offer you a backup run because you're the only truck in the area that can do that run. So all of that information, you know, you're processing everything all at once within this 5-minute time frame to decide whether or not to take that run. So I hope this kind of helps you and gives you an idea of how we choose our runs and where we choose to go and what we choose to run for. Because again, there's a lot of information to take in every time that run offer comes out. Because sometimes, you know, if you're in a higher area like Chicago, you can get 20, 30 offers in one day. That's not uncommon. A lot of it could be very short runs. It could be stuff just going to Indiana or down to Kentucky or something like that, you know, and you're being a team driver, you want to get more miles. But one thing to think about is, and I've said this in other videos, we truly do not focus just on the miles. Miles are great because we're paid by the mile, but we don't truly focus on just the miles. And you know, with FedEx, we base it on the pay and we go by what the customer needs and what the run is paying. So again, I hope this gives you a little bit of insight on how we choose runs and where we choose to go and what we choose to go do the run for. If you have any questions or any comments or anything, please leave them below. I'll be happy to answer them. Contact me by Facebook, email, leave a comment down below. It's up to you. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe, keep those reels rolling, and we'll see you in the next one.
Oh, I thought Jerry was letting gas.
Was that a hairball?